G'day guys. I'm having some trouble with my air conditioning system, and in doing the diagnosis, following through the service manual procedures as much as I can with what I have, I was asked by some people if I could help them and describe some of the components or go through the process of how to diagnose the system yourself instead of taking it to a shop. So thought I'd do a video on that, help everybody out. So right now my current problem is when I turn the AC on, the compressor doesn't come on. So I get no cold air. And I've checked the AC, or I've checked the compressor, and it actually works. So I've had to diagnose a bunch of other stuff. So what you're going to need if you want to check out the air conditioning system yourself is basically the tools that you've been looking at here since the video started. You will need a gauge manifold set, even if you don't have the rest of the stuff. If you just want to check your pressures, you do need one of these. I got this off Amazon. It's like 50 bucks. Wasn't bad. But I do recommend getting the 5-foot hoses, although they won't come with these valves, and these valves are really handy because there's no valves on this part. This unscrews like that, and there's no valve there to turn it on and off. So if you put this on here, if you put this on your AC, you're just going to start blasting refrigerant everywhere, which is not only against the law but bad for the environment. Screw this back on here if I can, so you can usually this can be done by one hand, but you don't get the valves on the set that you buy online. I actually happen to have a set with the valves on it, so you really may want to look into that. So you need a set of these, about 50 bucks on Amazon. You're going to need a meter. You should have one of these all the time anyway. Doesn't have to be an expensive one or anything. Just grab yourself a multimeter. Another thing I like to do is go to the wreckers, depending on what I'm working on, and I cut the plugs off of fucking everything if I'm working on something. So this is the plug off the AC compressor. That way I can just plug it on there, and then using my jumper cables here, just manually jump it to see if the clutch is working, and it is. That's how I determined that. There's another way though that I'll show you too, and it really helps to have a scanner. And this one I particularly like because it does SRS, ABS codes, as well as the DTCs, and the does Chrysler OEM enhanced. But previously I wasn't getting any codes for my air conditioning, so I don't really know what to think about that or what the hell the problem is here, and that's what's causing the biggest problem for me, is that I'm not getting any codes, so I can't figure, I have no starting point. Another thing I recommend having, absolutely without fail if you own any vehicle, not that, is a factory service manual. This isn't the whole manual, I just printed out the pages that I need, because the whole manual is 7,000 pages online, and they're about 180 bucks to buy a paper copy. But I really recommend you have one if you want to do any kind of repairs at all on your own vehicle. Most of the times they can be found online if you just look it up, if you want to do that thing. I'm not endorsing that, but hey, I can't stop you from doing you. So as you can see, it'll tell you, like right here is the fuse box section. It tells me what all the fuses are. There's the light bulbs, I don't need that. Here's the most important thing though. Connector pinouts. This is a section of the manual, shows the connector pinout for the pressure transducer. And that's one thing you're going to want to check. That's what you need a meter for, because if you check the voltage between pin 1 and 2, you should get 5 volts. I'll show you where that is. If you're not getting 5 volts there, well then you've already got a problem with the sensor or something. Internal wiring diagram shows you the layout. There's the AC clutch. There's the there's the clutch compressor clutch, sorry, and that's the relay. So this shows me that pin 30 and 87 are the contacts. That's disconnected. So that's obviously, that's deactivated when your air conditioning's off. When your air conditioning's on, it'll switch to pin 87. So you got pin 30 to pin 87. I'll show you where this is in the engine bay as well, because this is important. So this is why you need the service manual. It tells you everything you need to know about the pressures at different temperatures, what the pressure should be. It even will tell you some diagnostic steps. So this is very important to have. Get yourself a service manual, learn how to read them. Now, that being said, I gotta find a little wire here that I just had somewhere that I've undoubtedly lost amongst all the shit. There it is. And there's the relay. I've taken that out. This relay, I'm pretty sure this relay works. We're gonna go test it right now. And I just dropped my wire down there. Let's see if it hit the ground. It did not. All right, give me a sec to find this goddamn wire. That actually wasn't too hard. It was right there. It was easily accessible. So we got our fuse box here. I've already pulled out the AC relay. That's the one. And I just wanted to take a look inside of it too, so I even put the... Yeah, let's drop that way down there as well. We didn't need that. That's probably broken now. Because I just wanted to take a look inside and see what they look like. See if there's anything in here that might be wrong. But I already know this works. And I know the relay works. I don't know if it's getting power and signal from here. So I'm going to plug this in. And I don't know if you can see it there. No, you can't really see the contacts. Let me see if I can set this up in here so that you can. That's just not going to work. That's also not really going to work. This was not meant to be viewed, people. All right, anyway, that's the relay. What I do want to show you here is I'm going to just take this out for a sec. First of all, here's your pressure transducer, right back there. That's what tells the system if the pressure is low or high. All right, you can see that way back there beside the brake booster. If you got a problem with this, your AC won't come on. And that goes down your AC compressor right down here. That's this. That's the compressor. This is the clutch, is what this is. And yes, you can turn this by hand when it's disengaged. Now what I'm going to show you here is, hang on, I got to take a look at this again. We need to jump pin 30 to pin 87. So that would be this pin right here, that one, to this one. Now you won't hear a click because it's actually a really quiet compressor. I wish I could, oh, actually maybe you can. But as you can see when you watch it down here, you can see it just engaging slightly. So I'm just going to jump this here for a second, show you now. That's engaged. This will not turn, but not by hand. That's solidly magnetically locked, so that's not happening. All right, so I know my AC compressor clutch is working. The next thing I'm going to have to do here is test the voltage, and that I've got to do between pin 85 and 86. I do apologize right now if a lot of this video isn't making sense. I'm not really going through like a step-by-step process because I don't really know a step-by-step process. This is kind of just what I've been doing. Initially, I thought the problem was, as you can see, I've had to replace this from the plug on the other side for the compressor that's attached to the wiring harness for this. It was originally rubbing against the belt here, so it was cut. So I replaced that and thought that would fix it. It did not. Excuse me. So anyway, what we want to see here, the car's off right now, so I should get no voltage between 85 and 86. I'm going to set that to 20 volts. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this with one hand, but we'll see. See if I can set that. No, I don't know if I'll be able to. Well, maybe. So that's 85 and that's 86. And I got those backwards. There's apparently like 0.3 volts there. All right, so if I go in and start the car, or I've pulled the dashboard. I've already pulled the center bezel out of here just so I can fuck with my climate controls and see if there's anything wrong with that. And I'm going to be doing some stuff to the cluster that I'll throw in a video later. but that's not important right now. So, got the ignition on. I'm going to turn this to high and turn on. Oh, it says the AC doesn't want to work for me. I wonder if that has anything to do with the relay. Let's just go double check this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the relay in. I'm sorry you guys can't see it. I can. So I'm trying to see if the contacts in there will close. Right now I'm trying to determine whether or not the relay is actually getting a signal. That doesn't still. All right. I just want to make sure everything's out of the way. I'll start the car and see if maybe it doesn't want to turn on, because the car is not on. But that doesn't make a lot of sense either. Still doesn't want to run. Now I'm really fucking confused. Is it on? Oh, it's because it's on auto. Jesus. I'm just a dumbass, that's all. For the record, I've had the car a couple of weeks and I can't drive it anywhere yet because it's not plated. So there's the AC on. Which, if everything's working, should have my compressor turning, and it's not. And it doesn't seem like the relay contact is in there closed. So I'm going to try a couple things here and I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm testing the signal to the relay. And what I'm getting here is about 9.8 volts. I don't know if that's right. I think that should be 12. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to run upstairs on my power supply and check and see what voltage the relay closes at. Because I did just... I'll put the relay back in, I'll show you kind of what I did here. It's not something that should be done. And I just took that and I got my trim stick and I just very carefully lift it up on the contact, and you see that will activate the AC. See the center part spinning. I do not recommend doing this in case you get shocked. I'm just a crazy asshole. So I checked out this 9.8 volts. Let's turn this off. AC is off now. And we'll go check the voltage again, which should be, well, not 9 volts. And as it turns out, I'm getting 11.5 with the AC off? So I'm getting 11.5 there with the AC off, but it's not closing the contact. So one would think the relay is bad. But I just swapped this. Like, I know my horn's good. If I swap this around, the horn relay, still nothing. Of course, the AC is off right now. And if I go in here and turn it on, you know, there's no surge in RPM. There is no, it's not running down there. So that's confusing. So I'm just going to double check this again. Oh, alright. AC on, I've got 11.4 volts. So for some reason that I am unable to determine, there is no, they're the same relay too. there is the relay contact is just not activating. And I can't figure out why. So that's the problem. I mean, I've checked the transducer, I've checked the compressor, I've checked the pressures in the system, which if you want to check the pressures, your gauge connections are right here for the high side, and the low side, oh, that's a fun one. You can't even see it, but it is right exactly where my finger is. Right there is where the lid is. You can almost just barely see it. Seems to be a bit of oil on there, but that was from yesterday when I sprayed some out. So that's about as far as I can go now. I gotta look into why that's happening with the voltages, or why the relay isn't closing. Because that's just strange. Right? Like, I turn this off. I should turn the AC off. So I will update when I have a little more information. Thanks for watching, guys.